that said, we're going to have Wayne for 5 minutes the next hour, then Max Kaiser. Let me give you the background on this. Document cam shot, please. Former airline pilot and conspiracy theorist. See, it's okay, because he's a conspiracy theorist. He didn't trust the government. He wrote a book. He worked as a contract pilot for Black Ops. Again, that's why they had government people, the mainstream admits, take everything out of his house after he was dead. National security came and took everything out of the house. Former airline pilot and conspiracy theorist shot dead his 2 teenage children and his dog before turning the gun on himself. Because the police say so. The neighbors all say he was great and super nice and didn't even keep his gun loaded, and said he was being followed because of his book, The Big Bamboozle, Philip Marshall, about Saudi Arabian intelligence tied into the U.S. government carrying out 9/11, which is admitted. I've had the head of the U.S. Embassy on who said they were ordered Springman to let the head of the visa unit let them in because they were really CIA agents. They were trained at U.S. bases. I talked to Colonel Marshall, the Defense Language School. He said, all I know is Muhammad Atta trained in my class. And he believed he was in danger, and he told people, I'll never commit suicide. And then look at his sweet little kids. Can you guys document cam this or actually punch it up? Yeah, sweet, beautiful, wonderful children, loving, kind eyes. He has loving, kind eyes. Dead. Not enough. You didn't want to kill him down the street. You wanted to discredit his book. Just like a drone. Obama says they can kill 200 people at a wedding to get one bad guy they claim. Well, it's the same thing, collateral damage. You're going to kill Hajis all day to humanize them. How about the little redhead girl and her brother, huh? Let's grease them, huh? I bet they begged before you splattered their brains all over the place after you'd already killed Daddy. I bet they screamed and cried, oh, because the good guys run America. Oh, such good guys. Yeah, let's show him mowing the yard with his son. This is what they do. They come to your house and they grease you and your family. Isn't that, Joe? Look at him with his baby son there. Because this guy knew too much, and he flew, and he was in Black Ops. And he was starting to speak out. So it's not enough to kill him. No, let's kill his family, too. Excuse me. And then that ties into this article. Police hunt 2 men after oil chief assassinated in Brussels. And within minutes of the ExxonMobil head of Europe, involved in all the big green energy stuff, that's probably why he was killed, because that's a big scam. The head of it, men on motorcycles are waiting. They shoot him twice in the head. He hits the ground. They make sure he's dead. They jump on motorcycles and speed away. And the police say, we think it was just a mugging, even though they stole nothing. Precision assassination. Don't kill the wife, just punch her, because they weren't paid to kill her. Probably police department or people working for them. Because the real hit teams are usually on police departments. I give you Wayne Madsen and WayneMadsenReport.com. I know I'm ranting here, sir. You've got the floor till we go to break. What is going on with these cases and the background? Because, you know, there's not many folks out there that experience this. You and I worked with the D.C. madam. You warned her. I warned her. You know, we've interviewed a lot of people end up dead. You get the death threats. I get the death threats. The audience out there doesn't understand. This is real. Wayne Madsen.
Well, I went out to Calaveras County, Alex, with very skeptical about what the police said. In this case, Calaveras County Sheriff. Coming back, there is absolutely no way that this man, Phil Marshall, killed his 2 kids, his 17-year-old son, his 14-year-old daughter, himself, and his little pet Shih Tzu dog, Suki. All dead, a single gunshot shot to each. Marshall's was in the left side of his head. Police said even before they had finished investigating the case, they permitted professional cleaners to come into the Marshall home to clean the premises. After that, there were 2 sets of vehicles seen at the Marshall home, still conducting the investigation after the home was professionally cleaned.
Now this guy's background in Black Ops, I mean, I think that's why they were so scared of him.
Yeah, he worked out of Lakefront Airport before joining Eastern Airlines in the early 80s. He worked with Barry Seal, the DEA, CIA courier turned informant who was brutally shot to death multiple times, in his car in Baton Rouge on February 19th, 1986. Seal was getting ready to testify about CIA drug money and cocaine smuggling and arms smuggling, and they found in the trunk of Barry Seal's car the private phone number, of course, of then Vice President George H.W. Bush. Phil Marshall was SEAL's pilot after the government revoked SEAL's pilot's license. He flew him around, and I found a photograph of a very young Phil Marshall, probably about 24, 25, standing next to the CIA Learjet parked at Mena, Arkansas. So
they were really worried. This guy put out a 9/11 Truth book, really fingering the Saudis for being heavily involved. And he was really, and it's in the news that he was worried for his life. And you talk to the local cops. I guess they're so cowardly, they're going to go along with the official story.
Well, the sheriff, they're not talking to the press. They're in complete sealed lips mode. I talked to several of Phil Marshall's friends and neighbors. Unfortunately, he was estranged from his wife, but it was very amicable. The thing that really is puzzling is he told people that he had this 9mm Glock, but he said, a lot of good it'll do me. I don't have any bullets for it. It was registered, so they knew he had it. But they found the sheriff. The only thing the sheriff leaked out was that they found Phil Marshall's wedding ring on a box of that 9mm ammo at the scene. And everybody who knew him told me, they said, Phil hasn't worn a wedding ring since he was separated from his wife. So where did the ring come from?
But I saw this with that state senator. She called me. We need to look up her name. Redhead, nice lady. She was fighting the CPS taking kids. And she called. She said, I have the proof. I have the documents, the bounties on kids. I'm ready to come on next week. She called the producer. And that was a Thursday. She said, I'm ready to come on next week. They have a bounty on certain kids. I have the proof. We've got them. We're going to save the kids. Her and her husband shot and killed themselves that Saturday at their house. I mean, I see this all the time, Wayne, and it's very, very dangerous. I mean, they kill you, they kill your family, and then they blame you for it. Right, and there was no suicide note in this case. Everyone who knew Phil Marshall said he was an easygoing guy. But the interesting thing I picked up is that he told a very good friend of his that he said, wait till you see my next book that's coming out. I really got some shocking stuff in it. He was working on yet another book. The question is, what happened to his computer? What happened to his files? I went to the front of his home, and there, right by the front door, were a bunch of empty banker's boxes. I took a photo of it. I got it up on the website. But either they had one too many boxes to haul the files out, or they had taken the files from these boxes and left the empty ones in front of the house. And why slaughter the kids now? Now that they like to kill the family now if they can. Is that to demonize the subject or be able to shut the whole scene down? Yeah, it's to make the murder-suicide look plausible. That you've got a guy who's a ticking time bomb. Some of the local papers were terribly vicious against Marshall. The Union Democrat out of Sonora called him, a killer. It's a great way to demonize 9/11 truthers and, quote, conspiracy theorists. Absolutely. Well, another victory for the New World Order. I bet they really enjoyed killing those little kids. Alex Jones here with a message that could revolutionize health in this country. Going back about a year and a half ago, I began to learn about the incredible health effects of longevity products. Aaron Dykes lost 92 pounds. We're going to show you some before and afters. Aaron, break down what happened, your story.
I've worked really hard with diet and exercise to try to lose weight, but I just didn't get the results. It just didn't happen. Then I saw what you were doing with InfoWarsTeam.com. I wasn't even trying to lose weight, but I got it because I wanted to feel better energy. I wanted that nutrition. Didn't even understand how that could kickstart my own weight loss goals, but the products did that for me. I found myself suddenly losing weight, more energetic, wanting to exercise, wanting to eat the right foods.
And they don't even advertise it as weight loss. I want to challenge our radio listeners to go to InfoWarsTeam.com, sign up as a distributor, and get wholesale pricing discounts at InfoWarsTeam.com. Investigator Wayne Madsen traveled to the home of Philip Marshall, who was a clandestine black ops pilot with the CIA, that's undoubted. And he had written a book, The Big Bamboozle, United States Intelligence Community. And for that, his children have been murdered. And he has been framed. Some of the headlines at Infowars.com. Before we go back to Wayne, sheriff warns of second American Revolution if gun grabbers get their way. Very powerful video, very powerful article reporting on our interview yesterday. DHS supplier provides shooting targets of American gun owners. It is preparing for the gun confiscation war. Homeland Security, this is one of their vendors. Police claim Lanza in direct competition with Norwegian shooter Breivik. Democrats introduced a bill to allow police to search homes of gun owners without warrants. WWE creates racist wrestler to demonize Tea Party, and Alex Jones. That's just some of the insane stuff happening. Wayne, I want to talk to you more about this guy in this short segment, the little segment we have ahead of Max Kaiser joining us, thewaynemadsenreport.com. Invaluable information. You've dealt with this. I've dealt with this. Many people we've known, like Gary Webb, the D.C. Madam, they murder. I mean, it's really creepy. And it seems like there's an increase in murders going on this way. You know, larger area, what do you think's happening? Then we'll get back into this case and you traveling there and getting the dirt on what happened.
Well, I'm afraid what we're becoming like Argentina in the 1970s with people who were disappeared in plain sight, hundreds and hundreds, journalists, politicians, priests, you name it.
And that's NDAA. I noticed since he did that, we're seeing more of it. I guess they tell him it's legal to kill us now.
Right. So my fear is that that's what's happening here. And we've got this complicit press, media. I mean, there's a couple of small papers out there. As I mentioned, one in Sonora, the Union Democrat, really went after Marshall.
Oh, they love it. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The other paper, the Calaveras Enterprise, I thought was as fair as they could possibly be with limited resources. I mean, it's a 150-year-old paper that's struggling.
Well, see, you can't officially say government might have killed him because government only gives, you know, people little sweetie kisses, you know, at bed at night. But, I mean, it's despicable. They could do this to you or I.
Oh, absolutely. And, you know, as you said, I got a couple of these threats myself, and I always have to look out for myself. And I have to say that Marshall did tell some of his friends that, you know, he wasn't a paranoid person, but he's on occasion he would mildly say, yeah, I got to always look look behind me. I got to always worry about my safety. And one of the things, too, is that some of the talent, although his friends, Marshall's friends say there's no way this man killed his two kids who he did everything for and himself. But some people in the community, obviously being tipped off by the police, are putting the word out. And I'm reading from a posting on a local website out there. It says, if you're asked, and this is to members of the press, you tell them that Phil Marshall was diagnosed as a mentally ill person who got his hands on a gun.
So the establishment's putting out talking points now.
Absolutely. So the idea, Phil Marshall was not diagnosed in any sort. He did have a little issue with depression some years ago, but the only thing he had been treated for with any sort of medication recently was a bad knee. Yeah.
Look, here's the bottom line. Look at the mobile executive being killed, and within minutes he's killed execution style, and the police go, no, there's nothing suspicious. It's a mugging.
Well, absolutely, and the fact is, Marshall was a little different. After all, he had written these two books about 9/11. He had written this book about the CIA and DEA and out of Lakefront Airport, including one of his friends said that after Phil Marshall went to work for Eastern, and he switched from Eastern after Frank Lorenzo took over Eastern. Phil Marshall was the kind of person who would not work in a company where the new owner was trying to kill off the union. So
ProPure is introducing Pro One. All of your filtration in one system, portable, on the go. This is the Pro One by ProPure. You wanted it, you got it. No more do you have 2 or 3 filters to just reduce sodium fluoride. You have a system that cuts out the sodium fluoride and up to 95% of hydrofluorosilicic acid. Advanced manufacturing technology combines silver-impregnated white ceramic with new Aquamedics advanced media for removal of fluoride and other heavy metals, all in one filter element. It cuts out the acid derivative of fluoride. It is the only one that does it, and out of the gates, we have it discounted at 10% off with promo code WATER. This is the only system that in one unit helps reduce or remove pesticides, herbicides, chloramines, ammonia, and chlorine, hydrofluorosilicic acid, the most common form of fluoride not covered by other fluoride filter brands, and sodium hexafluorosilicate. This is a revolution against the tyrants. They love putting the toxic acid base of fluoride into your water. They love the fact that it's an adjuvant supercharging the trace Prozac in the water and the hormones and the other chemicals. By cutting out fluoride, you cut out the turbocharger in all the poison being artificially introduced into your body. This is what I use. It's a win-win. You get a high-quality product at the lowest price. You support the InfoWar. Get your Pro Pure with the new Pro One filter today at InfoWarsStore.com or by calling 888-253-3139. Wayne, again, we've only got 5 minutes left. You've got the floor. What other tidbits do you think are important for people to know?
Well, the biggest one of all, Sean Payton was the coach of the New Orleans Saints. When he was let go or suspended for rules violations, Phil Marshall was such a fan of the Saints and Sean Payton. He personally hired planes to fly over Saints games and multiple stadium venues, trailing a banner that said "Free Sean Payton." Now, the fact is that he would have committed suicide and killed his 2 kids 2 days before the Super Bowl was held at the Saints home field at the Superdome in New Orleans. That alone made people say there's no way he did it. And that's just a you know, I'm not a big football fan, but people who were football
They're
fans,
absolutely into it.
There's no way he could have done this.
Absolutely. But I mean, look, he had a book out. And I haven't read the book, but I read about it, and I read the synopsis. Saudi intelligence tied into the globalist Carlyle group, spot on what happened. And he had another book coming out. They were scared of him. He knew secrets. And, man, in the old days, they just kill you. Now they kill your kids. And it just shows how degenerate the system is. Wayne, if they keep killing people, you know this road goes 2 ways.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm afraid that what we're going to see here, as I said, is the termination with extreme prejudice that we saw our cronies in Latin America carrying out in the 70s.
Yeah, but how long are people going to put up with that?
Well, it's hard to say, but people, I got to say, people out in that little county out there are scared and mad. So they're mad that this happened to their friend Phil Marshall.
How long did you spend there? So they know they whacked him. And it's the kids. It's whacking the kids. Yeah,
I was there 8 days. I was there a little over a week. And
wow. So what percentage of the neighbors and people you talk to know that they got those kids and blew their heads off?
Of those who knew Phil Marshall personally and worked with him, 100%. Of those who only knew him through the children, going to the high school, there's a lot more who believe the official sheriff's department story. But that's, as I said, because the local media has really, except in one case, the one Calaveras paper, the local media has really been saying he was a cold-blooded killer who snapped.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I'm getting demonized at I don't know, let's not exaggerate, 500% more than I've ever been demonized, Wayne. And I know you get demonized in things. And all the people that serve the system need to know something. They're going to take the pension funds, everything, very soon. We're going to lose everything because all of you complied with this evil and we're such cowards.
Right. And I have to say that I was there on February 13th. That evening, someone broke into Phil Marshall's house through the back sliding door and was looking for something. Somebody is after something that he has. And I think whatever it is, it was so important, it was worth killing him and his 2 kids for.
Unbelievable. Listen, are you back in D.C.?
Yes, I'm back.
Well, you got good Skype, Wayne. I want to get you back on the nightly news tonight.
Okay, good.
No, that's fine. He is scheduled for the nightly news. You guys were one step ahead of me. Okay, who's doing the nightly news tonight? All right, good. Jakari Jackson's doing it. I've got a special report I'm going to do, too. Wayne, we only got 30 seconds left. I mean, this is really making me angry at the New World Order killing those kids.
Yeah, the kids were really good kids. If there was anything going on inside the family, I was told the older son, Alex, 17, by kids he knew in high school, they said, look, this kid wore his emotions on his sleeve. If there was anything going on inside the house, it would have been noticeable, and nobody noticed any change in behavior. So there again, we have these kids just being eliminated with their father and the pet dog.
And you get to demonize a father, a 9/11 truther, and a gun owner all at the same time. Wayne Madsen, we'll talk to you tonight. Turning away. You either fight the evil and you're part of the solution, or you submit to the evil. And what happens with corruption is people give into it, they make excuses for it when it's small, and then it becomes bigger and bigger. And pretty soon it's taking over everything, but still you're making excuses for it. Look at the mainstream media and the way they're caught lying and deceiving and twisting. Look at what the police will go along with. Look at what parents will go along with and teachers. Look at our culture. Bombarded with psychological warfare poison to turn us into a cross between a game show, a gulag, and a casino. It's Max Kaiser who coined the term the casino gulag, but I would add to it, it's like a game show casino gulag. And the dumbing down and the propaganda in every movie, every TV show, whether it's the new Die Hard movie or now WWE, every night when it's on to a record audience of 14, 15 million, Alex Jones is racist and the Jack Swagger is a racist and he loves Alex Jones. Just that's Running Man level bizarreness. And the government murdering 9/11 truthers and buying 2 billion bullets and launching drones and checkpoints. And now they're announcing what we knew. Massive tax increases, getting rid of pre-existing coverage, bankrupting people, doubling the insurance premiums, giant payroll tax increases on poor, just like they've done in Europe with austerity. Criminals at every level of government and corporations encouraging each other to just en masse attack us at every level to gain as much ground as they can get, to break our will. And you see the turning away. You see people building the wall, to use another Pink Floyd analogy or allegory. And then the worms, they enter your brain. And you just stop caring. You just give in. You just say, so many people get abused, and they become abusers, I've noticed. Whether it's financial or spiritual or cultural abuse. I always, if I got abused, I learned how to fight back against it. If somebody did something wrong to me, I sure didn't go do it to other people. Like, I've been robbed, I've been cheated, so I'll start cheating people. But that's the prevailing false wisdom, and it makes me sick. Visit Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. When you're on the site, you can also tune in 24 hours a day to my daily radio broadcast. There's also a free iPhone app to listen to the syndicated radio show when and where you want.